Welcome back. This week we have been focusing a little bit more on Asian cuisine, and I'm really excited to share this recipe with you today. This is a recipe for General Tso's chicken that I got from a chef instructor at Joliet Junior College. It is an amazing recipe. Now, it's not authentic Chinese food, but the flavors are authentically Asian. So I'm actually starting with marinating my chicken. So I have about 10 ounces of chicken thigh, roughly. It was a 1 pound package that I've cut up for chicken thighs. And I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I'm starting with a tablespoon of, you can use sherry wine, you can use cooking sherry, which again, that's really salty, so you've got to watch your salty ingredients. Or you can use orange juice. Since this is school, I'm using this really clear brown orange juice. It's incredibly rare. You probably will not find it anywhere else in the world. You missed me, right? To that, we are going to add an egg white. So I have an egg separator in there. I'm just going to crack my egg straight into my egg separator. We'll zoom in a bit here so you can see a little better. I'm going to encourage that egg white to leave my egg. Sometimes they don't like to. He's thinking about it. I'm gonna grab my knife. Oh, didn't need it. All right, so he's gonna sit over here. I will actually probably cook that up and feed it to my fish. Don't judge, believe it or not, they like it. Next, we are adding one more liquid. I'm just going to get all my liquids in there. And this is a dark soy sauce. Now, I have a low sodium soy sauce. That's what I buy for home. Okay, and we only need a tablespoon of that. Okay. Next, I have to add the dry stuff. And that is going to be baking soda and cornstarch. Cornstarch will help us make a nice sauce later. And it thickens up the marinade, helps it coat. Let me grab another tablespoon here. I dirtied all mine, quite literally, because I don't have a clean one. Clean that up really quickly. Okay, so remember to level off your cornstarch. Okay, and a straight edge will do. There's one. This is going to get clumpy. That's what cornstarch does. And there's two. And then we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. What? Baking soda? We're not baking this. No. Baking soda will actually tenderize our chicken. So this can sit up to overnight in the fridge. In fact, that's what I usually do. I like to let it sit overnight. So there's my marinade. It is not delicious looking, but it smells great. See how it got thick? Thanks to that cornstarch. I'm excited. And I am using a glass bowl. That's a Mr. Argus thing. I know some ingredients will react. No. With metal, stainless steel, and aluminum. Usually aluminum. So I just typically will do this. You can wear gloves for this. I wore gloves to cut up my chicken. This is chicken thigh. Because this is a dark meat, it has more fat. That means it's going to have more moisture and it's going to soak up those flavors just a little bit better. So it's a little tip for this type of dish. Go ahead and use that darker meat. You will actually have a tastier chicken. Okay, and so I'm just going to take my hands and I'm going to stick them in there and I'm going to really make sure my chicken gets coated. This is very slimy. But I promise it is very delicious. Alright, so you want this to sit ideally overnight, but at least give it a few hours. Alright, so I will check back in with you after this has fully marinated. Continuing on with our General Tso's chicken. The chicken is finishing up the last of its marinating in the refrigerator. While it's doing that, I have been prepping the rest of the ingredients for this recipe. It is a little bit involved recipe. So we have half a cup of cornstarch, half a cup of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, and we're just going to mix this together in our bag. And when our chicken's ready and we're ready for it, I will place the chicken in the bag and coat it. Okay. So that step is done. We will come back over to our cutting board where I have the rest of my ingredients. Alright, so it's marinating. I've done my dry coating. Now it's time for the sauce. And honestly, some of these I don't know substitutes for, so my apologies. And it tastes best made as is. It's actually a really phenomenal recipe that he created. And I will try and put the recipe and his name in the below and on Google Classroom. So here I have 2 teaspoons of hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce has miso, it has plum, it has soy sauce and garlic. It is packed full of flavor. That's why I don't think you can substitute that. It's a very strong substance. With it is a teaspoon of roasted sesame oil. And I'm literally just going to combine all these ingredients together. I have 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. 2 tablespoons of either sherry wine, cooking sherry, but I'd be careful with that one because of the salt, or orange juice. Two tablespoons of soy sauce. Half a cup of low sodium chicken broth. Because we know from baking that baking powder and baking soda both contain salt or salt-based ingredients. We want to be really careful with anything salty we add. That's why I said be careful if you use cooking sherry in your home. Okay. To this, I am going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch to help thicken it up, and 4 tablespoons. You guys know me, I only measure once. There are 4 tablespoons and 1/4 of a cup, so 4 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, double checking I added everything. You stir this until the sugar is dissolved. And I put it in a measuring cup. The reason I put it in a measuring cup instead of a bowl is I have to add this to my pan later. And it is way easier to pour from a measuring cup than it is from a bowl. It's also less dishes. All right, that's all combined, and it smells really good. Okay, the rest of the stuff I have on my cutting board is for finishing with my sauce. So I have 2 teaspoons of minced fresh ginger. Powdered ginger, yes, comes from the same source. It is a completely different fragrance. The flavor's different. It is not a good substitute in my opinion. I have cut up green onions. It's about 3 green onions. They're supposed to be about 1-inch pieces. These got a little bigger. And I have 2 cloves of minced garlic. Okay. You are also supposed to add 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. For some reason, that's something I'm out of in my kitchen, but I have a chili pot. So I'm going to be using that instead just to kind of bring in a little heat and flavor. I don't want to leave out any one ingredient because they really depend on each other to create the depth of flavor that we are wanting to obtain. All right. So our next step is to get our chicken. Actually, I'm going to move all this and then get our chicken. And now we're back with our chicken that's been marinating in the refrigerator for several hours. Okay. So all that flavor has now soaked into our chicken thighs. It's also tenderized them up a bit. Doesn't that look delicious? Now we're going to add this to our powdered ingredients. Just double check this. It's been a while since I've made it. Come on. You can open. Alright. Okay. Go ahead and add a few more, and then I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Managed to spill it down the outside there. That's me. That's okay. We will deal with it. Throw a few more of these guys in. All right. Relocate the bowl to the sink. And here we go again. Get in there, you. Okay, so we want to make sure these are good and coated. Each individual piece. All right. So at this point, I'm going to remove my paper here, wash my hands, and put on a pair of gloves. Alright, so I have a glove over the hand I'm going to put in the bag. I mean, it's raw chicken. It's just a little safer to handle that wearing a glove. You want to shake off as much as you can from each piece to keep it from making a mess of your oil. Okay, so now you could use a little more in there. It gives you that opportunity to check, you know, make sure everything got well coated. If it's not well coated, you know, recoat it before you bring it out. Get some pieces stuck together. Again, this is your time to fix all that. Some of these didn't shake off as well as I'd like. Now that our chicken's all coated, it's sitting over here on a pan or on a plate waiting to go in the pan. Okay, see my setup of everything by the stove. I do have the camera up kind of high because this is going to spatter. So this is the first time with you guys I've used my stainless steel pan. This is my largest frying pan. It is not nonstick. So it takes a little bit more of a trick to work with. I'm still learning. So stainless steel is porous. You do have to heat the pan before you add the oil. We typically don't do that with our nonstick pans because the coatings can produce a toxic fume if you heat them. But with this particular pan, we want to heat the pan, seal the pores, and then add the oil. Okay, you can see there's still some residue from the last thing that's stuck in there and I wasn't so successful with. But this is the largest pan I've got and I need it. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to be really generous with our oil. Okay, we are adding half a cup of oil to this pan. So I just want to make sure it's good and hot before I go ahead and add my oil. I have it on medium heat. And you want to stay about low to medium heat. This is not a pan you'd put on high. It's not a recipe you're going to put on high. Okay, I'm going to add half a cup of oil. See how that looks. If I don't like it, I'll add a little more. Actually, I think that's going to work. It's already starting to shimmer. If you add the oil too soon, those pores will fill with oil and this will never kind of be non-stick. If you do this right, it can be just about as non-stick as a non-stick pan. if that makes any sense. So we're gonna let the oil heat over medium. I'm at about 4 to 5 on my gas range. And I am going hunting for my favorite pair of tongs. The one thing I have learned with this pan and the oil is it likes to spatter. So I use my grill tongs, I try to stand back, and I just accept there's going to be some cleanup that needs to be done. Okay, so what I usually do is I pick a sacrificial piece of chicken, I shake the flour off of it over the plate, and I see how it does in the pan. It's not doing too badly. It might be a touch cool, but not much at all. I'd like to see it go just a little hotter. Alright. I'd say we're ready. And we're not too hot. Always a plus. So I'm going to go counterclockwise around my pan, adding my chicken in. As I pick each piece up off my plate, I give it a little shake to try and get any of the excess coating I can off of it. And it's really important, keep that heat hot. Don't let it get too low, but don't also let it get too high. It's a thing where you have to kind of gauge it. Alright, so that was the first one in. Okay. The reason I'm actually doing this in an order is so I can come back and flip these all in the same order. So I'm spiraling these into my pan, so to speak. Trying to keep them from crowding each other too much. That'll make them cook soggy and also take a little longer for it to cook. Okay, where'd you go? I'll just pop that right in the middle. It's not a thing where you flip and flip. You're going to get one flip, guys. One flip. You do not want to flip this over and over and over. It's just going to kind of make it soggier. Alright, so we're going to take a peek. Not brown enough. Set it back down. That was really hard, right? Okay. So right now I'm just trying to achieve a golden brown. I've got a nice medium heat. My pan is working beautifully. I am excited about this. I love this pan when I can get it right. Alright, take another peek. I'd like about 30 more seconds, I think. Okay, so maybe I'm only going to make it 10, because I have no patience. Not bad at all, actually. Let me turn my light on here. Whew. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that. Okay. This guy. That cornstarch makes the most delicate crust. Yeah, we're not brown enough quite yet. Got a couple. As these get done, I'll move them off to a paper towel, and then I'm going to add fresh ones in until I have them all cooked. So I'm going to let my pan cool for a minute or two, because I need to clean all of the oil from the pan. Okay, so while that's cooling, I've got my chicken. It's under foil on paper towels. And so I'm going to get some paper towels and I'm going to clean out my pan. Alright, so we're back with our pan cleaned. I have added in a tablespoon of oil, and I'm heating that over low to medium heat. And I am going to now add in my chilies and my green onions, and I'm going to cook them for about 30 seconds. Oops, 15 seconds, I apologize. Now we're going to add our garlic and ginger. Cook for about 5 seconds. So just a quick little stir around the pan. Then we are going to stir in our sauce. So we'll set up one more time. And here goes. Okay, we're actually going to bring it to a boil. Alright, so as this comes to a boil, it is starting to thicken. And that's what we want. We want to be able to draw a line through it and have it stay. Remember, there's just that little bit of cornstarch in there, and that'll help it thicken up. Gorgeous. Just watch that heat so you do not burn your sauce. And that is ready for our chicken. So we're going to add in our chicken. Turn down my heat. Alright, and get that nicely coated in the sauce. Okay, bring that heat back up here. Have it. General Tso's chicken. I'm going to serve this over rice. I love that sauce with the rice. I hope you enjoy.